Hello and welcome back to Jazzonomics. This is a budget special. But firstly, I must recount an incident that happened to me the other morning. I'm just wondering whether any of you will be able to shed any light on it. I went to the petrol station early in the morning and a woman pulled up next to me and got out of the car, didn't get any petrol, walked straight into the service station area, got a cup of coffee, casually walked to the counter, willingly handed over £3, turned round, left, got in a car and drove off. Nobody asked her whether she'd mislaid the family flask, whether a kettle was on the blink, whether her electricity had been cut off, whether she'd won the lottery, or whether she was having a psychotic episode. It's been troubling me for quite some time. There have been a few sleepless nights, which leads me to reading an article in The Guardian. I'm not quite sure whether this is a satirical section in The Guardian, but I think it's in their section called The Filter, and this was under a heading called Shopping, and some Guardian writers listed, I think, 10 essential items that you should pay no more than X for. And one of the items that the Guardian writers considered essential was olive oil, and one of the admittedly it was the high-end choice of one of the esteemed writers. It was marketed like perfume or aftershave. It was in that sort of bottle and it came boxed. It was £36.99 for 500 millilitres, and it was sold by a firm called Mio, which I think does translate into Jesus Christ, or my Lord, or something like that. But that's enough budgetary nonsense. I'm going to revisit Hank Mobley because there were a few things that I wanted to say in yesterday's video that I rather missed out, and it really is about where to get Hank Mobley on a budget. I looked online this morning and there's a very good Avid Jazz compilation that contains 4 great Hank Mobley albums. You can get this delivered new, $6.99, and the albums on there are Peckin Time, which is a bit of a double header with Lee Morgan, Roll Call, Soul Station, which is an album that I may do a video on at some point, and Workout. Mobley is a very consistent performer, and if you want an introduction to Hank Mobley for a relatively small amount of money, that's a very good place to start. I also found this on eBay. I bought it some time ago, $2.99. I bought it along with another Real Gone Jazz set. I think this was by Lee Connett, both £2.99, both pretty good prices, both had about 8 albums on, and this also contains Soul Station, Roll Call, the Hank Mobley Sextet, Hank Mobley Quintet, his All Stars, Hank, Tenor Conclave and Quartet. Some of Hank Mobley's albums sat on the shelves for quite a long time in Blue Note. The one that I talked about yesterday was recorded in '66 but wasn't released until 1979, and I think Hank Mobley was cheesed off, and I'm sure he did use the words cheesed off when his albums weren't released immediately. He was under the impression that Blue Note were waiting for him to die before they released his albums. I'm not quite sure whether this was quite right or not. You may notice today that I am wearing this sort of rather fetching hooded top. This was another early morning find from my good friend. I think this was found down the side of Home Bargains, I think, either Home Bargains or B&M Bargains. As you can see, the glamour is oozing from me. I've pieced it together, I've paired it rather. Need to get my fashion lingo quite right. I've paired it with the Robbers joggers again. You know, it's a very comfortable outfit. It's I find it's probably the perfect outfit for smoking spicing. And if anybody knows where to get any without me accessing the dark web, leave your ideas in the comment section. Right, that's enough fashion and budgetary nonsense and a little bit of jazz. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. This was Jazzonomics.